but they were able to beat them quite easily. They went up against 9. That would have been a bit of a disappointing loss to not take a single map there. They go up against 33, beat them again being tested. The 2-0 versus Big though, Jay. 13-9, 13-9 on back-to-back maps of both Train and Nuke. And then BC Game, they played them in another tournament, had a rematch in only a few days, and while that was another competitive series, they got a 2-1 win against a very good-looking Simple in that best of 3.
Well, only one can come out on top, so Dwayne, I'm going to ask you now, your predictions in this series, OG or Iberian Soul?
Iberian Soul, probably 2-1. I expect that we are going to go to Nuke as the decider.
All right, let's get into it then. It'll be Mirage to kick things off. Arostos going to peek up forward first and get domed in by Sasul. Straight block shots. Davi will take down Spook in the back lines of the A-bomb site. Adam B and Nikodos bring it into a 2v3, making it 2 now as Crizzen also chimes up. We've got another kill from the man. Bopos down. Sasul caught outside of any sort of action. Bomb being dropped in the open and all. And OG have locked Iberian Soul out of the bomb site and out of the pistol round.
Well, it's an underwhelming defense from the first line of contact. Spook and Arostos get absolutely nothing out of it, but the rotators are very successful. Out from connector and towards jungle, up from CT, we're seeing immediate impact. Iberian Soul may have been able to create space, but not enough space to be able to take jungle and force that plant down. So OG can get started with the pistol round victory. Now, look at both of these teams. We're looking at OG with 6 wins, 8 losses in the last 3 months on HLTV versus the Spaniards of the 9 wins and the 6 losses. And this is a map that we very rarely see in terms of a map pick, so it is something very different than what we would normally expect.
And certainly a departure from that last head-to-head. Again, it was Inferno, Ancient, and Nuke that was brought out here. This time, Mirage, Ancient, and Nuke brought in. OG trying to avoid the 2-13 loss they took on that Inferno against the Iberian Soul lads in the last outing. So I guess makes sense in terms of history as to why they'd want to avoid it.
And we know that Crizzen just a few weeks ago had his 1-year anniversary of being signed by the OG organization. The young in-game leader is still only 19 years old. You expect that he's going to be the forefront of the future. I look at some of the recent changes that OG have made. I think a lot of people were maybe surprised to see Fiku getting the kick, considering how long that he'd been there. But sometimes you have to be in a result-based industry and tough changes need to be made. I mean, even the coaching staff, we're talking about what the 2 Frenchmen of Lambert and Killazoo, they've been a part of the org for what, coming up to 18 months now. They would have maybe looked at the trajectory after the major and said, look, we're just not quite satisfied with how the results have been going on. We need to be in a position where we can qualify to the next major, get in and around the tier 1 circuit. So they've definitely put their foot down when it comes to making changes recently.
And Crizzen, obviously, a guy that made his name within the whole academy systems, and it's kind of exciting to see that he is sort of leading the charge of, not I want to say youth, but of just like the next generation within this OG roster. And as you mentioned, that probably is going to be their identity moving forward as an organization, as a team. It does make you excited for what kind of platform it could provide players, and certainly they provided platforms in the past. I want this to be the platform of success for everybody involved here today. Iberian Soul on the back foot, starting off this series. They are bringing those Tech 9s out for another A hit.
They're going for a much quicker play, and this HE's going to do some decent damage.
It hasn't quite actually managed to do as much here. Iberian Soul scattered away from the center of the match. SMG struggles a little bit as a result. Crizzen's forced to trade back on Alex. Fall away from angles, or several men inbound towards him. We'll need some backup to get here soon. And the Tech 9s indeed will get run down by Nikodos, who gets a couple of kills out of it. Martinez and Sasul getting trades together, and the Deagle continues to tap head. Suddenly, Arostos is in a 1 versus 2. Bomb's been dropped in the open at least. He's trying to fight from range with that MP5. Molotov burning Martinez down. He's not out of the round just yet here. He might be in a moment's time here. Arostos peeking, finds him. Where's the last? He has no idea. Sasul creeping slowly, give away 0 info. Arostos going to have to check all his corners and just about win the 1v2.
It's an uncomfortable round there from OG, and I'm wondering if Alex is looking at this saying, let's force buy again. It's unorthodox because you're not getting the bomb down, but 4 casualties, you got very close. And this is back-to-back rounds where the entries have been really good, right? As soon as they're taking contact, whether it be from Palace or even out there towards A-ramp, they're getting opening kills on the bomb site. It's the mid-round where they're struggling to close.
Get some more confidence out of the OG side to maintain this early start. Iberian Soul, you're well aware of what they've got to work with, forcing again into the 3rd round. They're playing a much slower style of round into their defaults towards top end of mid, where Alex Yeah, the charge initially with the Tech 9 is one of 2 Tech 9s in 3 Galils outside of that.
Now, they had an option to try and drop AKs and maybe have a couple of players without any armor going sort of glass cannon into pistols. And they've gone everyone into armor and upgrades. Try and get the util forward for the pistol players. HE down there towards underpass means that Davy G is not going to be able to do a lot in the round. Another HE. This is very difficult now for the Tech 9.
1-for-1 trade. Spook and Martinez go blow for blow. Who's waiting for more contact here on Sean. He will be able to get Mopos on a double kill. Fall back away to the bomb side, where Saul was prodding out initially, but being quiet and careful, going to wait for his teammates to form up because it might have to be a split play in. Maybe a flank play out from Alex on the mid window position, because there's really not a lot of breathing room for Iberian Soul.
But they need Alex to make a play. If he can get 1 kill and pull distraction away from B, that will open up the avenue for the bomb to come up short and then for the lurk to come out from the apartments.
30 seconds for the T's to make a move. So Saul just made his move into his own demise. Spook catches him. It's a 4v2. Martinez down to 1 man, just surrounded, not sure where to look, not sure where to go. And with him dropping the bomb, that is the round done and dusting. Confidence restored. Spook with a quadra. And OG with 4 players alive, 3 rounds on their board. Iberian Soul cannot justify a force buy this time.
OG has played at just 1 LAN in 2025, that being the Austin Major. They'd love the chance of qualifying to something like an ESL Pro League to feel like they're coming back. I know that they just qualified to Star Ladder recently, but we're now talking about almost going into September. And when we've looked at OG recently, we might look at this roster on paper, Jay, and say there's a lot of potential, they're in good form, but you'd almost expect more LAN appearances so far in 2025.
Well, sometimes the rankings can dictate all in that respect. OG, Adam B, easy pickings against the Eco Pistols of Iberian Soul, so not much you can expect out of success from them in this one. Martinez is still trying to make it expensive, and he's been doing a pretty decent job of finding those picks in the unlikely scenarios. Doesn't seem like any more should come through for him, though. So Saul actually, this Tech 9 will get a couple out past this smoke. Nikodos does trade him, and even Martinez all alone. Regardless, it'll be 3 casualties at least, and that's where it will remain for OG. So Iberian Soul continuing to try and find the damage on the economy.
Jay previously was talking about some of the head-to-heads that we've had between these 2 sides. There's 2 on record in 2025. Now, both matches had the loser being eliminated out of the tournament. And I always like that little rivalry. It doesn't matter how long it's been or maybe how many series there are. When you get into that constant flow of pressured matches, of one off day, one sort of maybe mid showing on your map pick, that's it. You just get eliminated out of ECL and then your chances of Pro League just disappear. OG can look at the start here, Mirage, and say, look, this is positive. Yes, they've been competitive and we've been losing players, so our economy isn't ideal. We're still 4-0 up. Let's keep this confidence going. Let's allow ourselves to continue to push on.
Rifles a return for the Spaniards. Axlos bonus in, of course. Seeing the orb in on Martinez as well for the first time in this game. And back to that slow passive style of D4 that we saw from round 3. This time just about taking that mid-access. Flashbangs in mind. 3 players total are defending this mid-angle from connector and from short. Iberian Soul, meanwhile, their core players forming up in the apartments. B seems to be the final end.
Rostos has got nothing to block. He can only really fall back, try and get himself out towards jail or towards bench. He can't even set up much of a crossfire because Nikodos is only in market, not out towards short where Spook is.
Shot miss from Martinez. Falls back. The M4 of Aristos. Trying to hold his nerve. His other teammates coming in the kills. Though Spook with his double. Finally, Aristos gets 1 out of it. Spook holds on to Davy G on the trade. Counts, triple secured. Nikodos closes the round. A 5th on the board of OG, making mincemeat of Iberian Soul thus far.
And maybe that is just a concern of the veto process. I mean, I'm looking at the stats. The Iberian Soul team has played 40 best of 3s on HLTV in the last 3 months. Inferno has been picked 19 times, Nuke at 17, And then there's a huge drop-off. It's Train at just 3. And then after that is Ancient at 1. So that just tells you they only pick Inferno or Nuke. So when you come into a best of 3 where you're going up against a very good Nuke team in OG and you want to float that as the decider and you can't get Inferno because of the perma ban or at least the punish ban because of Dust 2 for both, you're going into Mirage that's never been picked. And this is where for Iberian Soul, we talk about the recent run of form, right? You keep going into strong maps into every best of 3. However, in this lower bracket game, you're not going into a strong map straight away.
You still got the wins on the board, however. In the previous head-to-heads they've had against Fnatic, beat them 13-3, Foot beat them 13-10. Very good teams have fallen to this squad, and yet OG seem to be going a step beyond. Soul strikes in mid for Alex. At least Spook will finally get neutered, and that's a key danger man with the number of sequences he's got on that short angle. Arostos gonna get dinked up, not ready for them to push that far forward. So as he drops, the B site will drop with him. Iberian Soul taking a bit of a freebie round. OG need to save their guns here.
Well, Rostos is playing the exact same position on the edge of the van as he did in the last round, not reposing, not being in a slightly different angle. So he just gets overwhelmed. Should be an easy kill from Alex. The timing's slightly off, unfortunately, there to not drop that AK out from Con. So OG can hold on to the save, and look, I don't think they're going to be too disappointed about that. You hold on to 3, you've got 2 M4s, you've got an AK, you've still got a decent amount of util in terms of both the incendiary and the smoke being held. But for Iberian Soul, it was the in-game leader. It was Alex to create that opening pathway to start with a short kill.
An opening round for Iberian Soul.
Terrorists win.
Providing opportunities now for their campaign. OG have looked confident at times, although they also have looked tested at others. Iberian Soul build up their economy quite strong as a result of the 4 players that stayed alive, upgrading to a 5th man with a rifle. Now I'm going to convert that opening into a follow-up. See how they do that.
Iberian Soul have been taking mid quite cautiously. They're not taking it aggressively at all, not trying to get players up in towards Con or boosted into window. They're quite happy to sit back and retake around the minute marker on the clock. Now Nikodos with the AWP is going to position himself out towards short rather than the traditional window or connector. Iberian Soul know that they are getting close towards resetting the economy and they just need to start scrambling a few rounds in a row. We've seen a lot of B hits, haven't we? Whether it be splits out from both the apartments and short or just from apartments directly. Not many A-leans at all.
When they've gone for A-leans, it's been set pieces and they've been ripped apart on Iberian Soul's part. OG now doing a bit of a better job at fending them off in the apartments at least. No opening kill against Arostos. In fact, his think down damage done to Davi G in mid. A bit of a back foot here for Iberian Soul, wary of what OG are playing at. Alex trying to prod out some sort of response towards the A-bomb side, but in reality, making their way with a split play. Alex good to deal with Nikodos and double up onto Crizzen as well. Arostos got to defend the back of the bomb site and does well with the first man. Nova cooks the flick to the second though, so Saul deals with him. 2 low HP players on the Iberian Soul part, but 2-man advantage at the exact same time. OG don't fancy their chances here. Davi might sneak in one more kill, not quite whiffing the spray on Adam B. So he'll get away alive, as will Spook. The round will go the way of the Soul though.
Now, we know that both of these teams have got head coaches and assistant coaches, and I'm almost starting to ponder the idea. I mean, we were just discussing it as the commentators at the start of the series that Arostos is struggling, individually he's not performing well. Is it maybe a tendency that we've seen that from the coach's POV of maybe the last few Mirage officials of targeting Arostos in particular, targeting that B bomb site, because we see yet another round where, okay, he's going 1-for-1, but it's still not quite a multi-frag. It's Nikodos getting flashed off the angle towards short. There's got to be a reason why they're hitting this B bomb site as much as they have. And it's got to be something that the coach or even the assistant coach is bringing forward to someone like Alex.
Have they identified a weakness? It certainly feels like it at times. Tacticals called in by OG, and I guess now's a good time to sort of delve in a little bit deeper to that whole like B hit over and over again, because I was trolling through the tables, the position tables that Nero put out recently, that he updates occasionally about where all the players' positions are, and noticing that Arostos playing B short officially on Mirage, but right now is playing more center or bomb site or playing on the defensive on the apartments. So I wonder if that might have something to do with it.
And that's always going to have to be something of role overlap, right? No matter what organization you're a part of, you can get shifted from small site anchor to big site anchor, more active roles, less passive roles. It's what you have to be as a professional player in any division, in any tier of Counter-Strike, is adaptability. 5-2 for OG. Iberian Soul, at the moment, won't be too satisfied with the scoreline, but they'll be satisfied with how these last couple of rounds have been going down for them.
Incendiary push. Quick up to that B bomb site. Arostos again pressured. This time Nikodos' AWP is in position to receive with Spook on the AK. Crizzen chimes in as well towards mid. And just like that, Iberian Soul have been countered. OG adapting well. And should take number 6 on their CT side as a result soon enough. It comes down to time or eliminations. Won't matter. There's no way back in for the Soul.
Really good timing on that Incendiary, because what it tells you, especially when they've been hitting B as much as they have, if you're hearing ticks burning within the first sort of 15, 20 seconds of the round, it's just going to be a B lean. So it brings everyone's attention over. We've seen previously that you've had, what, Arostos as the B site anchor, and then Nikodos with the AWP towards short. We haven't seen that quick rotation from Spook, and that's something that happens out there towards market. You've almost got a triangulation of 3 on B. And Iberian Soul just want to try and save on to the weapons. There's just nothing going for this round at all. And Crizzen has been able to make the correct call, end the streak, and get yourself up to 6. Now, if you are the international roster of OG, you're probably looking at this first half and saying, look, if we can get 8-4, we'll be very happy with that scoreline. That will give us a lot of backing going into the second half.
Well, for now, OG will have to be happy with 6-2.
Counter-terrorists win.
Guaranteeing that they cannot lose the half at the very least. Iberian Soul be working hard to bring back 4 in a row and just to maintain the even starters going into their CT side.
And it's got to be a nice feeling for OG being on the front foot, because I look at their series, I was watching it yesterday, they had to come back from, what, 8-11 down on their CT side of Nuke versus BC game. They were only a few rounds away from being 0-2 in the series because they lost map number 1. So you've now come into a new series, a new day, and you're the one that's on the dominant foot. You're the one that's leading on the scoreline.
Rifles are released out for Iberian Soul to try and fend off OG, taking the half advantage. Adam B's being watched as well by Sasul. I suspect there might be some sort of play, or timing is absolutely perfect for the Swede. Sasul is going to be smashing his fist for his monitor at that one.
Well, Iberian Soul are just so passive on the T-side line of engagement that it does allow deep lurks for searching. Adam B, the timing is certainly in his favor there. You're right about that one. But it's an opening casualty in which no one is in a trading position. Adam B's got all of that info that there was nothing out towards A ramp, so we can just start blocking on mid. And Davy G needs to try and get this short player of Spook or even the connector player of Crizzen as everybody else starts regrouping towards A with the bomb.
Once again, the outlook is not good for Iberian Soul here. Given some breathing room to enter into the A bomb site, Adam B will be looking for contact and fall away. That has been picked up in mid, so now these mid players will start to adjust in from Con. That means there's 4 total on the defensive. Crizzen close, takes his swing. Mopos will go down. With 2 more to go. Even Martinez just peeking ahead of that AWP. Crizzen with a double, a triple in that sequence, a quadra overall. And just some really great individual rounds coming in from OG players. It was Spook throughout most of the opening half. Nikodos getting his licks in. Crizin at 8 frags. That's not even counting Adam B and his impact as well. Just so much talent right now on display.
Now, if we're counting the dates going all the way back to Movistar Riders, before they went to Koi, before they went to Iberian Soul, and then over here now towards Gentlemates, Mopos has been a part of this roster for over 8 years now. This is a real veteran player, someone that brings a lot of experience, 1,800 maps played on HLTV, plenty of Tier 1 LAN appearances, plenty of major appearances, and he is currently 1-8. You don't quite want that from an experienced player. You want someone that can be consistent, someone that can step up to the challenge when times are getting tough. And for Iberian Soul, notice how many Galils we are seeing in the gun rounds. We're not constantly getting the AKs forward. Now, in the last, I had the AWP out from Martinez, but you're going into round 10 and you don't have 5 AKs across the board. It's a lack of bomb plants.
Don't even have as many AKs as OG have. 4 held over in the previous round. Excellent firepower available with the half advantage now locked in. And shots continuing to land from players at the CT side. Nikodos finding Alex. Spook now trying to move up towards the short access. Martinez leans in to Saul, finds a fight, but Adam B takes him right back. Got a secondary player to deal with. Crizin will fall down in his place, and Dabby G actually gets a double out of it, but cannot deal with Spook playing up on short. 2v2 as a result. Him and Arostos versus Mopos and Martinez on the retake.
They've got good util, 2 incendiaries between them. Martinez out here towards the barrels, just swings out on the contact, and now it means that Mopos has to try and clutch the 1v2.
Half HP against each CT though, leaning up, blind fire coming his way, but not connecting. Incendiaries up, firefight, loss from Arostos. Now Spook's got to try and use that information to his favor, but cannot seem to hold on to the kill. Mopos will clutch the round, all important for Iberian Soul.
And nicely done there for Mopos. That was very much needed. That was an uncomfortable round from the outset. The opening kills were struggling out from Rab. It's Davy G that almost does the impossible. He is completely alone there in Con. He has lost his teammate in the process of Sasul, and he's got to fight against all angles. He's almost 360ing, isn't he? Because you're focusing out on the bomb side, you're looking back towards short, you're focusing back up Con again. So for him to get 2 kills, that was the difference maker. That set up the round for Mopos to get the clutch.
Nice nades on OG, already going to clap back those. Iberian Soul play the A campaign once again. It worked last time, but will it do this time? Martinez just out of the jump face angles of Adam B. Now we've seen 2 walking their way forward around. That will cue the utility from both sides here. OG trying to hold them off. Prism wary of a stub man lurking in from mid, and he's right to do so. And also right to hold the position. I thought Iberian Soul could have exploited that, but no, they're going to cancel out.
It's been a lack of pace changing for Iberian Soul. Alex come in with a very composed default on the T side of Mirage, where if they have an aggressive approach, they normally cancel or they freeze. They never go in for quicker pops or quicker execs outside of basically round number 1 of the pistol and round number 2 of the anti-force bite. Once they've got into the gun rounds, they've been very slow and they've been very hesitant. And for OG, with the nade placement to start off the round, it's successful, but that's a lack of info that they don't know about. Now, out on B, Arostos normally doesn't have a huge amount of util. This time, he's got a re-smoke from his teammate of Spook, and he's got another smoke to work with as the B-site anchor.
Nice re-smoke from Arostos coming down to the perfect timing. They have to push forward of that, and he's the only player directly on the bomb side. They pop out dry. Davy falls, as does Mopos to the head of that smoke, and a triple from Arostos will bring his numbers in line with his teammates, Alex and Sasul, in 2 very, very far out positions in the bomb. As Adam B can take 1. Can't transition over the second, though. Not like he matters. The round is still going the way of OG. 8-3. You said 8-4 would be a very good scoreline to have. They could go even further than that.
And even though we're kind of getting into the mindset that the Gentlemate side is in some really good form, they're getting a lot of 2-0s recently, they've had a good side and run of their recent tournaments, for OG, mate, they've won 13 out of their past 15 best of 3s on HLTV. They're not taking many losses either. So when you've got 2 teams that are both coming into a really important series in good touch, it is just on the day performance. And I think right now for OG, they'll feel that they've been the better team by a country mile.
Not even been that close. Adam B's mocked out Mopos. Follow up from Alex, at least gets a trade into the quick storm up towards that short access, but he doesn't go any further because Spook's going marked. Davi walking right into the trap that Crizzen has laid. That drops him. Bomb gets dropped to Martinez. Saul, knowing exactly where he is as well, will go down soon enough, and OG dominate their way through a 9-3 opening half on Mirage. A massive difference to make up for Iberian Soul. Their only saving grace may well be OG's recent dire T-sides at times on Mirage. But if you're relying on your opponent to go worse for you to do better, and that doesn't seem like a very confident thing in my eyes, Dweg.
No, not at all. OG going very quickly into this B-bomb site. Mopos to stall with the smoke towards the left-hand side.
Teammate out towards short as well. Davi's dealt with very quickly. Mopos at least good for one headshot. Martinez quick on the scene, gets one kill out of it, but he's lost all of his backup. Mopos been mopped up. A second headshot does get lined in. Another one on Nikodos as he dances around the back of the bomb site. Arostos is all that remains. All Iberians in server now. He's in a 1-on-3 with the first man down, but couldn't spot the second. Martinez with a quadra, and that's why he's player to watch.
Excellent shooting coming out from the likes of Martinez. That was a very quick rotation of pure impact. Immediate USP shots coming through to the headshot connections. And for the Iberian Soul side, look, there's a bit of redemption in winning pistol, but I'm looking at this entire bracket. The game against Gun5, against Paravision, GG How, Sangled and Omega, every match they've played so far in this ECL bracket, they have won their map pick, Jay. 3-9 down, winning pistol. Is there a chance? I think there is, but it's probably quite limited.
OG at least had that gap closed up a little bit. It's a start for Iberian Soul, even if that doesn't necessarily indicate a comeback yet. They're harsh on the eco because OG didn't get a bomb plant out of the previous round, didn't get much damage to justify a force buy either, so let this one get mopped up, see what damage they can do with the Deagle of Nikodos, but relying mostly on getting to the rifles in the next round.
Well, I'm very surprised that Martinez didn't buy maybe body armor and then just a USP, because we see sometimes the AWPers protecting themselves, don't they, where they want to try and get a lot of money, get that AWP into the opening gun round. It might have been Alex's call to expect a force buy here from OG in round 14.
And still, the Eco gets a kill out of it. Martinez dropping. Alex doesn't go down, however, so should all be good so in terms of holding on to that M4. Guns to return from the OG side there. First rifle of the second half.
And Iberian Soul have really played the VRS system in the way that Valve envisioned it to be at its very best, and that's to be attending local LANs and going into the grassroots scene. We've seen a lot of local Iberian LANs being attended by Iberian Soul. They made the journey out towards Kettering to play an Epic LAN not that long ago, where they took home the grand prize of first and get themselves the challenge of getting closer towards Tier 1. Davy G struggling with the short boost, but doesn't get punished by the opening casualty.
Crizin and Nikodos that strike first instead in mid. Two players down outside of A site as well. Spook trying to follow up onto Saul. And OG instantly in with confidence on their T side. God, it's scary how they just flick a switch and just become this absolute beastly set of individual fraggers. Just overwhelming in an instant. No trades found at all. And they might even get more out of this. Spook's around the corner from Mopos. Mopos does at least hold his life.
Well, imagine being the Gentlemates organization, this new French org that we've not seen enter into CS before. They're well known for rosters in what? Call of Duty, Rocket League, Fortnite is where their branding is. You've come in, this is now just your second match on HLTV, and you've picked up a squad that is in probably the best form that this team has looked in 2025. Iberian Soul have won 21 out of their past 24 matches on HLTV. Post-player break, they have been extremely successful, and yet they're coming into this series today, and they are struggling. They are feeling the heat against OG.
You better hope if you are gentle, mate, you haven't just picked up a flash from the pan team. All that longevity all you want. Uptick has only been recent, and this will be their second tournament elimination outside of the top 4 with the last 5 events in mind. Final tactical called in by Iberian Soul to try and avoid that fate. As remember, for those of you just joining us, this is a lower bracket matchup. This is your second chance. You lose here, you're done. As you win, you live to fight another day. OG. Right now looking on to see that other day. Iberian Soul, not so much. The rifles are back in for the CT side, though. Need to convert upon it, need to make a round victory happen now.
You expect between these two teams, whoever fails is just going to instantly come in the second cup, aren't they? And when you've got 4 of these European Cups, I think these kind of names are who we're going to be seeing frequently unless they win it. Everyone with the goal and the expectation to try and get to Pro League. Mopos has only got a smoke. You'd love to have an incendiary out here on B, especially when it's a gamble. They are not going to be rotating out towards B unless Mopos maybe gets 2.5 kills. He's going to need a monster hold.
Smoke's involved, flashed off, Molotov away. So the Seaside players blind him up with 2 kills out of it. And Spook gonna have to train him. He's successful in that regard. Alex next up to task. Backup is a very long way away. If he gets clear without finding any impact, it's easy 3v3 post-plant to happen. Takes a fight, loses it. Nikodol's waiting for him to peek out the other side. But Davy G is here quickly, only gets 1 out of it. Krisen gets 2. And it's a Saul very far away from holding this bomb down. It should get planted. He's got no kit for a retake. OG are taking a sweet time with this.
So Saul's expecting some aggression to come from Market. He's expecting a play on the front foot rather than just getting into the post plant. But this is one of the rounds where you almost need to go for it. I think protecting the save isn't worth it at a 5-10 score. You've got to have the confidence that you can win this 1v2.
Bomb has been planted.
So Saul will go and try. Just missed the boat on both individuals. Cruising back to peak. Oh, missing his chance. But second face will take him down. Triple in the round for the captain. Who now holds top frag position on OG. An 11-5 top score position for OG. Money is not great for Iberian Soul. No savings accounted for. Meaning it's a forced buy for round number 17. Either that or Eco to try and go the whole 7-round comeback to OT, and just a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Something I've been seeing quite a lot of recently. It's reality for the Soul.
It's a real shame because that was probably one of the best anchor holds you're going to see in the entire best of 3. An MP9 with a single smoke getting a multi-frag. And it's still not enough. Mopoz knows that on a better gun round, with maybe a teammate in sight, that's a round victory. OG getting peppered by this bit of unique setup. You had double short and double window to start the round, and a lot of spam damage is coming in towards the T side. Adam B down to 39, Spook at 31.
Almost the first kill for Nikodos, though, seeing the SMG out from Mopoz. Then he starts coming out of the apartment. So Spook actually does get that opening kill. So Saul goes down outside a connector in the A-bomb site campaign. Davy G is going to start moving. Nikodos sees him creeping forward, reacts quickly and well enough. Now it's just Mopoz's SMG to deal with basically almost the entire T-side force. He's traded places with 1 man, though. And this could get interesting here. They're storming up short in the meantime. Kill on Martinez. SMG strikes against 1, but only 1. Arostos takes him, and Alex is all alone. 5-7 in hand, trying to front for that AK wherever it dropped off to. Just can't find it. And either way, it was low HP, so it wouldn't have had a chance. 12-5, 7 map points for OG. What has been a stunningly good map to start off the series for them. Iberian Soul have really been left out to dry on this map pick.
Well, unfortunately, it just wasn't a good enough first half, was it? I mean, 3-9 down on your map pick. It doesn't matter how the discussion goes about the veto of you picking into something you don't normally pick. At this level, in a lower bracket match against a good side like OG, you can't go down 3-9. It's just too large of a scoreline deficit. And we're seeing the ramifications now. 12-5, fast, accelerated pace out towards connector, and it's obliteration. And the CTs are struggling against this pace completely.
The weaponry, don't have the numbers, don't have the position, don't have anything really to work with in this round. Martinez and Mopoz will do their best, but their best is not enough. 13-5, domination on Mirage for OG as they take map 1. What was the Iberian Soul pick? Yes, but you mentioned the veto process and how it was hindered by not getting a strong map right out of the gate. Well, I think you could call that anything but strong there. Things have changed within the OG sort of lineup, so I'm holding out hope that obviously that they'll fix that in the terms of the long term. I think in the short term, though, they look very impressive. I'm just thinking about the individual prowess we saw from these players throughout the course of map number 1. Some rounds they turned it up and they've really turned on the heat. Even Krisen topping out a 1.88 rating on that last map alone. So there's a lot of fear to deal with if you are the Iberian Soul side. And OG will start things off on T, of course. We'll see whether that will be a hindrance or a help to either side. Pistols are live.
Well, this is now the most played map in the pool for Martinez since joining back up with his old teammate. So surely from that point of view, that's a promising sign here for Iberian Soul.
Adam B leads OG in 1-for-1, 2-for-1, 3-for-1 trades with Alex and Davy lining up with the jewelry sets. The USP gets a triple overall. And there's a lockout round for Iberian Soul this time. Pistol win goes their way.
And look at their recent results. The last 3 months on HLTV features 15 wins and 8 losses versus just the 9 wins and 5 losses for the OG organization. OG will know that there is going to be a challenge in every one of these best of threes. When you go deeper into the bracket and you start facing those staunch competition, it's never going to be easy. You're not going to get the sitter best of threes. Iberian Soul had a good bait and switch. The Julie's out from reverse default, do a lot of damage, and OG protect themselves in round 2. Don't decide to force up.
And you got Mopos with his SMG looking to prod in towards his lane angle early spot OG players who are once again on the eco as it was in the last half of the T-side start. On Mirage, they lost the pistol, didn't get a bomb plant, eco off the back of that, and then rifles came out and they dominated their way to the rest of the win. A pattern that they would love to repeat, that Iberian Soul would love to crush here and now. Especially when this first half may well prove to be what makes or breaks this series for them. Fortunately, no breaking to be done against the CT side here now. In the eco round, it's the anti-eco weapons. I'll get the W.
Yeah, only last month I got to see Iberian Soul live competing out on Ancient when they participated in Epic Land. I saw their matchup in the upper bracket final versus Arbe, the Danes. They had a really tough time and then rematched against them out in the grand final and had a much better Ancient. And this is definitely one of the maps in the pool that, while it's not a map pick from them, we see opposition picks, and we see third map deciders being floated. And Alex and co will look at Ancient and say, yeah, it is one of our stronger maps in the pool. You might even say that Ancient is stronger than Mirage when you look at the recent performances.
Again, you got some significant wins on the board to think about. We'll say for Iberian Soul, you mentioned that the way that RB series, or that those RB series is rather, went down, obviously, with the 13-4 lost with 13-9 return, which does echo similarly eerily to how this series went out. Again, 13-4 last time out against OG in the rematch here today. Although, once again, the difference is caliber of teams. RB probably not within the same ballpark as OG or Iberian Soul today.
Well, for Iberian Soul, every series has been a 2-0 win in the bracket outside of their one loss versus Paravision. They got a 2-0 versus Gun 5, a 2-0 versus GG How, 2-0 versus Sangul, and then their series that they played yesterday, 2-0 versus Nemega. Now, I know Nemega have lost Sway and they've lost Flammus, but that's still a pretty consistent top-end Tier 2 team. That's still a squad that we look at that can push, I would say, to qualifications to land. They can push for trophies at this level. So to get a 13-4 and 13-10 back-to-back, we know that they're in a good stead, and we know that Map 1 was an off performance. We know that it's not up to the par of the expectation of what we normally see from them. So this is all about channeling good CT side protocols, a good understanding to force this series into that decider, because I'd love to see Nuke. We're talking about the #1 map in the pool for both teams.
Here come these guns in for OG. Pop up from Davi, takes his fight, and Spook is not ready for him, playing anti-flash. The smokes and Molotovs coming in from the Soul. Disrupt OG's entire line. Chris on his solo HB and revealed past this wood cubby corner. Caught off by Mopos on his extension, and it's a 5-on-3. Iberian Soul doing well to control this part of the map. Nikodos working off timing alone, 2 to find, 2 to go down. Adjust back for a third player who doesn't exist there, a ramp, but Alex is still holding the defensive line, and Nikodos is hunting his man. The Dane wraps his corner, sees his shoulder, and Arostov steals the kill. So Saul's at least known about. Martinez also chiming in. Nikodos tagged to 10 points of health. Gonna go back for that bomb as well in KV. Has no idea where it's a Saul's reposition to, and in from Ramp, he catches him in the open to maintain the third round for Iberian Soul.
Well, that was legitimately mental of what Nikodos has attempted there. 3v5 deficit, no teammate in sight, no util to get through the doors. That is such a risk to make that play. Rather than slowing the round down and regrouping, he just walks out of the B doors. So I'd like to say that the round was well, at least should have been over from this point onwards. And that is Mopos knowing that he should have been able to get the refrag. Nikodos unfortunately getting dinked and not quite getting the read onto Saul out there towards Cave. Excellent start here for Iberian Soul.
And just not enough funds for OG to invest heavy again. They'll half buy instead. Oh, Spook's call on timing. Give it as good as you get, lads. Happened in the last map against Iberian Soul. This time it favours them. I think the Nicolas at least picks one back though, so it does maintain a 4-on-4. Everything else is probably going against OG. Weapon advantage, obviously. Iberian Soul has that. Man advantage is 4-on-4. With the health across the T side, they are very heavily tagged up.
And it's funny, when I look back at the previous season of ECL, back at season 49, that was horrendous for Iberian Soul. They finished last in their group. They lost to Z10, Arc Red, Bait, and Spirit Academy. The only team that they beat was Rush B. So already, this feels like a much better bracket run than what we've seen previously.
This is Saul's prods. And she does get overwhelmed on the part of the OG side. Bomb plant is not going to be allowed as Davy gets involved and Mopos will close against the masked man. So Iberian Soul continuing to keep OG's money on the ropes. 4-0 to the start. No bomb plant bonuses in any of these rounds. And at least savings coming up together for a rifle buy on OG's part. Start winning some rounds soon enough, Iberian Soul. Only 2 rounds away from claiming minimums.
And I'm sure Iberian Soul would like to do what the old double pony looking for org side was able to do and get signed by an organization and push on further. Nicolas trying to see if he can push out from the anti-rush util from elbow, but before he could even take a contact, he's down to 45.
If Iberian Soul, much like 3D Max, can not only sign on to an org and try and push for tier 1, but also stay there. OG losing Crizzen in the opening fight. Once again, Mopos extending past lane. This lane control from Iberian Soul has been a major sticking point for OG. Adam B tagged, Nicolas being tagged as well. Low health once again being another issue for the OG camp. Mopos doesn't even get traded. They're trying their best, they just can't seem to get it.
While that was an unintentional miss-smoke down there from the B doors, it has been very successful. And Crizzen sees that as a moment of opportunity to exploit, to work on the gap of it, to get a good timing, and Mopos is just holding on the other side. Now, while that's happening, look at Sasul. He has cleared all of A main. He's seen nothing at all. Martinez is holding deep red with the AWP so they can triple on B. It's a perfect read. It's a perfect setup here for Iberian Soul.
Adam and Spook about to move. First fire of the M4, 3 on the cross. Alex going 1-for-1 with Adam B's casualty. Spook still being seen. Eventually gets dealt with the same. On that backstab, won't come into any fragging impact. They've got all the info they need. Bomb tap once for Aristos. Got Davy trying to go for a knife inside of that smoke. Bomb plant can be secured this time. Martinez close. Saul comes in with the flank and finally closes out on Nicolas. There's a good tap for Aristos, but no more than that. The defuse will come through for Iberian Soul, who are now 5 in a row.
Well, we saw a slow start to come out from the likes of Alex and Co out there on map 1, and they just couldn't ever really get themselves back into the game. The score got to 6-2. It then just started to snowball, and eventually around that marker, you felt that the game was done, that the scoreline was too far. I'm now looking here at OG and I'm seeing very low numbers. Players are not quite creating opening kills. And it's mainly because Iberian Soul have been on the front foot of just constantly taking space, haven't they? They've been pressurizing elbow by taking mid heavily. They're getting players up there towards shelf. Mopos in particular is constantly pressurizing bottom ramp out there towards the B doors. So Crizzen can't even, a lot of the time, get out of B doors. They're not even getting into bucket or getting down there towards cave. They're kind of being held back and they're trying to retake space. So for OG, they might need to fight fire with pace. They might need to start accelerating slightly quicker into lane and contesting map control in the first 15 to 20 seconds of the round rather than giving a lot of respect and retaking control.
First tactical called in by OG in this map. Don't recall them having any in the last map, not that they needed to. Last time, I believe that Lambert has spoken to his team throughout the course of this series. Pretty rightfully so, OG. A bit desperate to get to a round here. starting to play out, not too dissimilar to how the previous map played, just in the other direction. Kill found Mopos and starts things off on Crizzen. There's no trades for OG. No matter what they do, they just can't seem to find an angle.
Well, they use 2 mollies to just protect the ramp aggression. So when they start scaling towards Cave, they can't even put a molly towards Mopos because they've used all of them. Adam B scaling. Nikodos trying to watch out for the ramp aggression, and even though he's in an off angle, he still can't deal with Alex's press.
Adam finally get a trade out of that one, but now needs to play supportive. He's got a U2 on his pouch and everything, so it might be more so beneficial towards the T side to play him back, but going to push in from the CT side. Actually going to completely pass the legs of Arostos, so this could be an interesting piece of misdirection play if B still ends up being the target, especially. Lean out from Adam B. Spook watching for Martinez's extension. The player could get caught towards Spawn. They think it might end up being a B-Rap now. Spook, here's the footstep, flash forward. Awkward spray from Mopos. Does come forward in the end. Arostos now only starting to make his way up the ramp. Fight on the AWP, forcing him back from position. He'll get a bomb plant out of this. But it's a 1v3 to fend off the post plant and not even get the bomb down in the first place. The last tick, Martinez lands the headshot with the AWP. And it's 6-0 now for Iberian Soul.
Well, there's no better feeling than this if you're Alex, because not only are you out-calling them, but everyone is just hitting shots. And we had a map number 1 where numbers were pretty much low. I mean, almost everyone was, on single-digit kill counts by the end of Mirage. You come into Ancient and everyone's just frying. Everyone's getting multi-frags, they're getting opening kills, we're not even taking many deaths. And the AKs, they're constantly being saved in, and that's what OG had happen to them in the first half.
Without the rounds to respond to, it was 5-0 before Iberian Soul started on Mirage. 6-0 now, and OG are yet to open up a round. Crizzen yet to frag. A huge drop-off from a player who was top of the board in that last map up. Finally opens up this round in his Mopos, but Alex and Davi good to trade back on both A and B. Low HP players across Spook and Arostos. Assault can deal with one of them. Nikodos is Deagle. Good to maintain towards 2 players on Iberian Soul, but now Arostos has got to do the rest of the heavy lifting. Bombs on his back. Tries to find a fight on Martinez, lands him in the shoulder. And doesn't go any further than that. The repeat of the AWP lands the 7th round of Iberian Soul. Half game without a single concession. OG start to scratch their heads and rack their brains figuring out what they have to do here.
They're struggling because they're losing a lot of fights, and unfortunately as a caller there's only so much you can do, can't you? You can adapt to a setup, you can come in with different timings, you can come in with a slower pacing or a quicker round, but if you're just losing Angels, there's not a lot that you can adapt about that. Sasul in towards mid, no aggression whatsoever. Davi G fast out towards A main with Martinez holding with the AWP behind him.
Adam moves, finds a fight and wins it. Arostos is at least ready for Davi G to make his move up. This time they accounted for that. Martinez AWP, however, close quarters. Adam B goes down. He faces aggressive for another individual. Nikodos finds Alex at red. And it's a 4-on-2. OG still losing players in various angles. Nikodos with the latest, however, still comes up to keep OG's advantage. Bomb gonna make his way to the B bomb site. They know where Martinez's last known location was, over on A. So B is the obvious choice. The bomb will go down, and the AWP probably doesn't have a retake here.
Even though that round is unsuccessful for Iberian Soul, I love the call. I love the confidence. You're up 7-0. You realize that they're just struggling to gain any sort of map control. So you play with high confidence. You go in for an aggro play towards A, and yeah, you're being watched. You end up losing fights. So what? You've got a mindset where you are just outclassing them completely. And for Martinez, you get yourself out towards the AK, try and face off against a couple of duels, try and get the AWP back. And nothing fought against you, but they are going to try and put that late pressure on. They are going to try and see if they can drop the AWP.
Ball looking the wrong way as Nikodos peeks up, landing him in the side of the head. Triple for him in the round. And finally, a big individual moment for OG, who prior to this round, scoring less kills than even the bottom fraggers of the Iberian Soul side. It's an important one to win to get them started. They have to now follow it up because it was not an easy feat. Iberian Soul were hot on their heels and calling in a tactical pause as well. We'll discuss the specifics of the buy-up here. OG have at least done their damage, so take their time with this investment, and they won't get away 100% clean. Limitations and utility in a small amount. No helmets will be a good thing, but the fact you have to make that decision is a case in point as to how weakened the economy is sometimes.
But I'm even thinking about the coaching perspective of Lambert. I mean, he's got more maps played on HLTV than Adam B and Arostos do. This is a guy that, okay, didn't have a very successful career, had a long career in Tier 2, and he's got to find a way in any of the tacticals being called from the opposition or themselves to get this scoreline recoverable, to give themselves a chance in the second half.
Davi checks for Crizin, can't double up, so Saul at least takes Adam B down elsewhere. Still got Nikodos in the elbow, going to try and chase down his player in at mid to kill Foul against Spook. Alex goes falling. 3-on-2 situation. Iberian Soul again coming out on top in these very early round fights. Took only 30 seconds to get to this position here.
Now, this is a very rare sighting of how Ancient CT side is played in the current meta. I think when Ancient first came into the pool in CSGO, we saw a lot of lane aggression, a lot of plays up towards shelf, down from ramp. But we don't see it anymore. And Iberian Soul, it's been entertainment completely.
OG suffered as a result of that. 1v3 for Arostos as he just lost his teammate. Just doesn't know where these CTs are coming in from. Bomb plant. Now he waits. Martinez and Alex are closing in. He's covered off from that ramp entrance. He's going to start looking back there now. But it's a fight. Headshot gain, but Martinez uses the wood wall to wall bang through and take the man down. 8 on the board for Iberian Soul. An instant responsive to OG once again.
Well, the only thing that is in my mind right now, Jay, is surely whoever wins the knife round going into Nuke wins the best of 3. I mean, let's look at what we've seen. Map 1, Map 2, extremely one-sided first halves. Nuke, CT side, you get that? Is that just the golden ticket? I mean, could it be 3 maps in a row in which we just get blowouts in every single half?
I mean, last time it was 16-14, because if you want to know about blowouts in terms of the map ups, remember the last best of 3 had blowouts for the respective map picks, and then Nuke went down to overtime. So I'd say the strengths of both sides have really come out. You mentioned how it's a good map that both teams want to float into the third, and that's what we got. Maybe that's what we'll get as well, OG. Certainly a very long way off of taking a sort of 2-0 in this series, and you doubt at this point that they can even make it happen.
It's just the lack of plants. I think that's been my biggest issue with their T side, is that they've just been losing so much within the first 30 to 60 seconds. They don't even have util or players to execute, do they? They're just contacting sides because they've just lost so much.
Need to find ways of dealing with this Iberian Soul aggression, and it's just not working for them. Adam B down in mid, exposed to the backwall in the open, with no teammates to train him, no support to back him up. 2 men in for Iberian Soul. Martinez credited with the kill and an advantage that they can just be happy with from here.
OG just trying to get the individuals in to create something. But then in the middle of the round, there's not a huge amount of overfighting. Alex has got a little bit of an off angle, but he's got a teammate with him. Mopos to try and set util to get that M4 in for another kill.
Nikodos desperate to get them into this A-bomb side, desperate to get a trade frag, if nothing else. Davi. Scene of his shoulder. Nikodos going to start to make his moves up. Smoke. Get beaten ahead of. No one checks tree. They do in the end to Saul. Overwhelmed. Davi's only good for the 1 kill, but done a ton of damage to the next 2 players. Spook, especially on 2 HP. 3-on-3 is where OG stand at.
Got a really late wraparound in from A main. So Martinez and Alex need to basically distract as much as possible towards CT and out to Temple in hopes that that MP9 late is not going to get cleared.
Burst of the SMG from range catches Nikodos off guard. Suddenly this round becomes a lot more difficult for OG. Gonna moves up, Spook to the bomb, go over the defuse. Spook gonna wait for his chance to strike. The spray's coming in from Chris and don't quite land. Spook gets a kill out of it! And Chris and Spook can just about combine to get those last couple players from beyond that smoke. Second for the OG side, trying to build back into a fourth round to close to half. They need to get the next two, though. I
think you can give all the credit in the world to that tree check. Tree has not been a position that's been played at all. And yet the one round in Mopos playing up there gets cleared. We know how dominating that position can be, both against donut splits and out from A main. If Tree doesn't get cleared, you just know that round's over, don't you? You know that Mopos is just cleared up.
OG. Now get a bit of a lucky break. There's no rifles in for Iberian Soul this time. The Eco Pistols allow a freebie round, a little bit of catharsis perhaps after all the struggles they've faced in this map. A third round to their board, making their best case of 8-4 still on. They have to get it over in this next round here.
Yeah, OG have given themselves a very small window of opportunity, but at least getting a harsh reset going into round 10 and then the consistent effect of that going into 11 and then even 12, you'll be happy with. Anytime you're in a scoreline deficit that's as large as this is, and you go into a round 12 bye where even if there's an AWP out, there's no armor, there's an MP9 for Mopos, there's a FAMAS out for Sasul, it's the best chance you have of getting an 8-4.
Just gonna make it happen. Early fights attempt to be taken by SMGs at range. Orpa Martinez, though, springing the trap. Adam B acting off the back of that contact. The kill comes in quick. The HEs do not do nearly as much towards Mopos, although Crizzen went blank for a casualty, perhaps. Mopos be waiting for him. Backs away, good shot.
Yeah, out on the B bomb side, David G can't block. He's only got a single HE, and he's playing out on an off angle towards long. So he needs to try and just basically hope that B's not being a target. Now, while that's happening, there's the red search. They're trying to clear as much of mid control as possible.
Kill against Aros Dos gives Alex an Iberian Soul man advantage again. Davi holds his spray together, even if he did struggle for a moment. The bomb now on the back of the site. Get planted. Alex spamming down. No ideas of how close the game really is. Fight on Davi. Adjusts back to the double. That's a hero-like play that may still bring OG into this round. 2v2, making it one as Nikodos goes down. And Crizzen knows exactly where they're both at. Fight on the first play. Adjustment's not quite as good. And so Saul will make it a kill. A double in the round and a 9-3 half for Iberian Soul this time to hold.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been testing so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now it's
How familiar does this look, except maybe a mirror image? 9-3 for Iberian Soul to compare to OG's 9-3 in the turn of the half in the last map up. Things are looking good for the Iberian team, the Spaniards, to make their way into map number 3. All they have to do is close out for 3 more rounds.
And it's going to be quick, very fast. Now, the Donut players are already hearing this A aggression, and Nikodos is going to try and repause.
This Peach and a stabilizer headshot doesn't quite land it. It's Spook instead to draw out first blood in the half. Nikodos gets 2 in the end, and a triple overall. A quadra up for grabs against Davi G. He's burning past that Molotov, swings out wide and does go down. Davi's getting given 1v1s though, forced on a reload. Adam B will take him. And OG, well, talk about similarities from the last map up. Once again, a pistol win when they're on the back foot. Can they break the trend that Iberian Soul set of not finding enough momentum behind that pistol?
Well, it's a shame that a series that's as contested between these two teams at the height of Tier 2 has gone down in the way that it has. I mean, how frequently do we see an 0-5 and an 0-7 in back-to-back map? It's just unheard of. You normally see competitive edges from the get-go. You don't see these long and extended round streaks from either squads. OG will look at things and say, look, the scoreline difference is large, but we have to take it 1 round at a time. Iberian Soul looked quite threatening, I would say, with some of their anti-force buy rounds on the T side of Mirage. Alex in particular, when he's working some of the Galil entries, was something that I remember. So watch out to see how dangerous this kind of buy can be in round 14.
OG took the pacifist route when it came down to the force buys. Iberian Soul, the complete opposite. Tech 9s won't quite get away with much here against Spook. Double found, triple up for grabs on low HP. Eventually Alex will go down. The SMG of Prison will be here with extra support of Nikodos. Martinez will fall to Spook regardless, so 4 kills for him. Sasul can't do much. All 5 alive for the OG side. Iberian Soul can't afford to buy again, so this should be number 6 instead.
Cheeky little pocket strap there from Alex. Try and force them on a fake that it's a very quick execute out there towards B. And they targeted the right player. You've got, what, 3 pistols all going aggressive into Donut. They just can't get the trade against Spook. If that's a 1-for-1 trade, it's a very different round. OG will look at round 15 and say, this is now a chance to start building up money. Let's not lose anybody. Let's keep 5 alive. We are not going to be up against many upgrades at all.
See how many heads these Deagles can claim. Not many in the case of Martinez and Davi. 2 more men out towards the A entrance. Aristos could get caught with U2 in hand. Indeed he does. Can they take him down though? And that's the important question. The answer to that question is no. Even Mopo's caught from beyond that smoke. Grizzly didn't even realise he was taking a spray. Last OG. Win number 6 to the 9 of Iberian Soul. 3 rounds of the good. Rifles are inbound for the T's now, their first of the half.
Now, when you look at the ratings for the 2 highest for OG in the last 3 months of Ancient, it's Adam B at a 1.28 and Nikodos at a 1.24. You expect a little bit more from the Swede and then maybe a bit more impact out of Nikodos when the AWP starts getting involved. 3 taking mid aggressively. Run boost unsuccessful, so Nikodos doesn't get out there towards Shelf, and Davi G looked as if he was going to get a double entry from elbow.
Nikodos gets past him out on the trade. Sprayer Mopo's good to find 2 of those players, and damage on the first, kills to the second. Now Nikodos is in a very awkward position as the only player on the A defensive. The extension from Krisen's come forward towards the B doors, but I don't know if that's going to be much help towards them now. The riflers really need to hold their nerve, and only one can.
And Nikodos can't even block with util. He's got nothing left. So, yes, Adam B is on rotation out from CT, but this is almost a miracle round for OG to win.
Especially Nikodos about to get spotted by Sasul. Kill found easy. Adam B, 3 seen. 2 go down. Actually, almost. Molotov hurts him. Sasul finishing off the job. Krisen's backstab now becomes the linchpin element that needs to win them the clutch. 1v2 for him. And they'll come as individuals as well. No one's considering that A main is a possibility for the man, although Sasul tucks himself in at the right timing. Kept away just in case. Now his head's been seen. Did he spot Prison in return? I think he might have just done utility on the way forward. On range, look at Donut, just moves back, look close quarters into Soul will deal with him. Iberian Soul on the board on T side.
Excellent entering pathing from both the first contact to elbow, but then Mopoz out there from Shelf. He just obliterates the Donut players. He gets an easy kill on the lip of the smoke, and then for Nikodos, he's just so damn low from that point onwards. Now, OG felt as if they contested mid, but didn't hold it, did they? Like, they contest the 1-for-1, but rather than being in a position where you can keep fighting elbow, keep fighting towards Shelf, they just retreat, and maybe that slight hesitation of that retreat is what cost them the round.
They got damn close in the 1v to the 2v2. Excellent work to drag the trades together, but it was not enough to hold them in the advantage. And OG need to figure out other approach once again, as it was throughout the course of their T side and all. And the blind sprays ain't going to help you, Aristos. Teammate will try a similar story, and actually Nikodos does get away a little bit better against Davi G, so there's a start for the Dane. Smoke's clearing out towards main, but no further push from Iberian Soul.
Well, you would expect a molly to go out towards default. Everyone's making sure they don't give away the shadow. That's why they're hugging on the white wall. Crizzen out towards Cheetah with a bait and switch of Nikodos. A is very open, and Nikodos, being with the info that they see nothing out towards lane, doesn't give a huge indication to Arostos or Smoke.
Other than Telegraph a hit, I don't know what does. Counter incendiaries are there. Mid's going to get cleared out by the rotating CT players. So now they can focus their efforts on the ace site, and Arostos may have blinked for a moment, but he got those 2 kills in. Spook also follows it up. Does go down in trade, but Martinez needs to get these fights in 1-by-1 fashion. He gets 2 of them in that case, but Adam B wins the 3rd of the fights, and OG will fend off Iberian Soul. Build back into this map up brick by boring brick. The deficit is still 3.
Nikodos is in a position in which he could be granted an AWP, but he opts that he doesn't want it. And I think that's one of the bonuses that OG has, is that if we're looking at AWPers that can rifle, probably say that Nikodos is one of the very best that we've got in Tier 2. He's got an excellent M4 and AK behind him, and very frequently we see in certain series he just stops AWPing. He just continues to rifle instead.
The automatics work for you. And why fix what's not broken? Iberian Soul, set piece in towards the B bomb site. Counter util will be there for Adam B to block off the ramp entrance. He'll spray manically, but get very little as he's out of vision himself. Nikodos a little bit better off. So Alex goes down from beyond that smoke. Crizzen so wary of players coming in from the K position. Actually run right past him, so Davi even takes out his own teammate as an exchange of that. So Saul trying to get trading, but it's a 3-on-2, making it 1 with his teammate down. He'll find 1 pick against Nikodos, but flanks are coming in. 2 CT players are moving up, and Spook is there to spook him out of his sight. An 8th of the board of OG. Iberian Soul. Bomb plant bonus to bolster to a very strong buy, and max loss bonus also kicking into effect, so we're looking at some money flourishings, if you will, but no money troubles for OG means that they can respond in kind.
It's a good protocol there from OG. They're very defensive against the quicker play into B. They have a bit of spam out from long and short, but for the most part, they give the bomb site. They give the respect of the space and then just retake quickly after. Iberian Soul, in any of these ecos, you're looking for danger of the round victory, aren't you? You're not worried about the bomb plant bonus. You're not worried about how many players you're taking down. You're worrying about which one is going to be your 11th. Out towards mid, Davi G is attempting an opener, but even on the scale, on the edge of that molly and the smoke, there's just nothing seen. There's no aggressive approach.
Damage is returned towards 2 CT players, but Davi is on a solo hunt out here towards mid. Naturally, he may make his way through the smoke. Spook better be ready for this. So wary. Davi starts leaning. He's going to get caught. Teammates out in the open of the bomb site. Martinez can catch Arostos. So it returns to a 4-on-4. The CT backup will get here to attack from CT spawn. Iberian Soul have them locked out for now, but they are out of utility. They need to hold them off directly. Kills are coming in though. Nikodos, his orb returns on Martinez and doubles up to Sasol. That's all important. Mid is being launched, but no one's there. Alex and Mopos in the back of the site. Alex seen, but Nikodos finds another peeking kill. A triple for him, in fact. Spook on the defuse, and Nikodos chases Mopos away. OG, thick, fast, short, sharp staccato. Bish, bash, bosh, that's number 9.
It's one of the highest rated maps in the entire pool for the likes of Nikodos. His best map is Dust 2, but I'd say the numbers are overinflated because it's only been 3 officials that they've played. When we're referencing the best maps to the pool, we're looking at the ones that are getting the most amount of officials on it. And for Nikodos, we're seeing some of this quality right now. Excellent X Factor. That was a tidy looking round there for Iberian Soul because no dedicated A player on the CT side. They... yes, don't deal with Spook out from Donut, but look at Martinez. They're scaling out of A main. Mate, he's holding the CT line. He's waiting for the cross to come out in the rotation. And what does he find? He gets the Rostos that's rotating from Red Room towards Spawn. Yeah, you can say that there wasn't util on the post plant. That's always going to be a bit more difficult. But even trying to play out from Tree, Big Box, it felt like no matter where they were, they're just getting farmed by Nikodos coming from CT.
OG have nearly completed this comeback.
Well, you've gone from 07 to 9-10. That is a hell of a recovery.
9-3 half of that. Iberian Soul has scored a single round. On this T side, where have you gone, Iberian Soul? HE damage, Molotov damage, blind sprays of Crimson not quite coming up towards the lane access. And at least the lane control that Iberian Soul have had doesn't quite have as much impact on T side as it did towards the CT basis. Smokes Crows from Crimson will block them from making progress in towards his cheater angle for now. Oh, got close to catching Mopos. Only held it for another second longer than maybe that would have been the opening kill.
Even with how successful this CT side has been, it's been completely different in terms of styles. OG have been a lot more defensive. They've been retaking map control, whereas Iberian Soul, it was just chaos, wasn't it? They were just running. They were just taking elbow. They were taking ramp. They were getting out of cave. It tells you that different styles can work for different applications. Nikodos with the AWP is waiting for a jiggle, waiting for a scale, any kind of contact towards ramp. And Spook and Co, him and a Rostos, they're going to try and clear out A main space. Now, while that's happening, Adam B needs to focus on Red Room because there is an exploitation there, but they can stack 3 players towards B.
An extension towards main is going to start to come up good for Spook. He's going to start moving into the backstab and getting information out. Shadow seen. Nikodos holds his nerve and lands it perfectly. Sasol is down. Krizen's flash blinded. Adam B is going to get picked up. Nikodos is Tech 9. Good for close quarters combat. Dabby G gets traded by Krizen and Martinez brings it into a 2v2. Now Spook's backstab going to have to turn up to back up his teammate. Coming in from the back lines is Arostos. And they have no idea about Spook. They're going to be exposed here for Martinez. Mopos could also go down quickly depending on how long Spook holds his trigger finger for. Capitalize on the first man headshot gain. Mopos now exposed to that front wall. Seeing the flashbang blinding him off. He can't take a shot back. They're going to close in on him. He's a goner, not long for this world. Flashbangs involved. Smoke down towards the bomb's position. Is Spook going to hold the 5-second stick? Seems like it. Aristo's going to get in the way, go for the kill. And OG coordinate that extremely well. Iberian Soul went from out-fragging and out-calling to getting out-fragged and out-called across a single map. We're 10 apiece. OG are back in the game.
Well, if you are Alex, fundamentally, that's probably the best execute that you can ask for. You are running into a B-bomb site where there's 3 individuals and you've lost first contact of the NWP straight away towards ramp. That was excellent. Trades were on point, timing was really good, spacing was tight, and you still can't win the round. That's frustration if you're a caller. That's getting in your own heads and thinking, lads, that was the round. That was the one that should have at least got us towards 11. You take another tactical. And for OG, I mean, right now, for Nikodos, he's getting a kill every single round in the second half. It doesn't matter if he's donut, if he's out on A, if he's towards ramp, he's constantly getting one. And I'm not sure what you do about that if you're Iberian Soul. Yeah, you can trade him 1 for 1, but if he just keeps putting up numbers, he's going to keep being a threat, and he's going to be the winning condition to where OG gets so many rounds in this second half.
$10 apiece. OG. Just back in this matchup, Iberian Soul. Just desperate to get kills out of that one. A reckless move for the smoke on Mopos, costing him his life in an instant. Alex also tagged low. It's starting to turn into a disaster for the Spaniards, of which 2 are moving up towards red. Uncontested by OG, at least not directly.
And OG are becoming the retake kings, Jay. This is 3 rounds in a row that we're seeing post-plants and retakes. Mate, I don't even know if the bomb's going to go down this time. With Mopos falling and Alex on low HP, this might be a round that the bomb doesn't even get close to a bomb site.
And they're going to go for Nikodos, and you just think how stellar he's been, both in terms of defensive and on retakes. He got that 3 kills with the AWP on retake at one point, which is something you should never see in sensible CS. OG... Oh, actually do lose there. AWP with Alex ready for Spook's prod forward. Arostos here in 2 sets of footsteps, though. 2 to line up. 1 and both to go down. Just about, though. Felt like he might have whiffed it on the second play, but Martinez's shot misses. Arostos turns back to the bomb site. He gets a Saul and all. And Davy G being tagged up as he gets even more kills, or even more kill potential out of that round. Davy G doesn't even know there's a player outside of main. Krisen's going to hold his position and get his kill, get his piece of the pie, but Arostos credited himself for the round win, which puts OG in the lead.
And imagine being Alex, okay? You've gone into the B bomb site, you've been satisfied with the protocol of the timing on the execute, you don't win the round, you go into the next, bro, why is there 2 Donut? Like, you've just caught off the AWP in CT, you've caught off Spook at the back of Donut. Your mindset, accelerate Donut, go towards A. Maybe a Rostos is out there towards A, somewhere around big box, default, if there is playing a dedicated A, but probably not. They're probably heavier towards B. And yet, as soon as you come into Donut, there's just another player. It's a massive bait and switch. It's another one of these rounds where Tilt gets mentally involved, and you are having some extremely competitive rounds. Let's just even compare the first half. Mate, those rounds weren't close. They weren't competitive. They were thrashing them. You've come into the second half, and I don't think Iberian Soul have played poorly. They've had some good chances. Unfortunately, when they've got the bomb down, a lot of times they haven't really had a lot of util, have they? We've had a 4v4 towards A with a 2v2 on B. Both times they didn't have util to work something. And now, I mean, the scoreline, it's just been taken away from them. The momentum's just disappeared.
As is the lead, as has their advantage, as is their economy state. Hero AK on Davy G, hoping and praying that he becomes a hero of his own right. Iberian Soul will need one. Because OG are 1 step away from map and match point, and for Iberian Soul, that could be their elimination. Davy just caught vision, just evaded the damage of Spook. Flashes in both directions. He'll be heard transitioning away to the entrance. And hoping they extend out all the way around Donut. No one's seen here by Iberian Soul. They're back with his collective.
Now, Rostos has even got the AWP over Nikodos in this round. The AK down towards bottom ramp is waiting for the shelf players, and he's seen contact on at least one, and he's going to start hearing the footsteps coming out from cave.
One player in red will hear the rotation room, but I don't know if that matters when the rifle is associated against the pistols. Swing out aggressive. Actually, Adam B chokes it, but Nikodos holds his nerve at ramp, gets his double. Krisen chimes in. Bomb dropped. Rifle picked up by Davy, but his teammates have all fallen in turn. And it's 12 and 10. Map and match point for OG. 2 for Iberian Soul to take us to overtime and stay alive in the ESL Challenger League.
I know that Arostos is just the A player and he's playing the AWP very passively, which is something you see, I would say, somewhat frequently from an AWPer trying to play A. But when I'm looking at Arostos AWPing over Nikodos, it's just crazy. It's just something you don't see in Tier 2 or even Tier 1. 30 kills for the AWPer rifling. Iberian Soul have tried everything in this second half, and every single time it has just been defeat after defeat.
Orpa's involved. The Martinez. Mopos takes Nikodos down. Adam B can take 1 kill. Smoke trying to get himself a bit of cover. He was flash blind against his teammate. Spook comes up against Saul. The side defensive holding well as Prison also gets involved. Alex seeing players beyond that smoke. Can't stabilize his spray. It's Martinez all alone. At least him and Alex have got a couple kills on the way out, but 21 HP to survive this 1v2. Officially a 1v3 clutch. He's taking out the first man. Next to him moving together, Arostos and Crizin. Arostos on point, and Martinez does not know he's exposed until it's far, far too late. 13-10, a 2-0, and a humongous comeback from OG sends Iberian Soul crashing out in the ESL Challenger League.
And it's not the first time that they've had to have these big comebacks. I look back at their lower